President Goldwater.
Yes,
Mr.
hi.
President, nice meeting you, sir.
Well, nice to see you.
Thank you.
I guess we get wired up here.
Yes, sir.
I hear the weather's beautiful out there in the southwest. Right?
81 consecutive days without even a trace of rain since January 5th.
That may not sound good to everybody out there. It sure sounds good back here.
You bet. You bet. Mr. President, when did you first know Barry Goldwater?
I believe it was 1948 or 49 that I met him. I was introduced to him. I was president of the Screen Actors Guild at the time, and George Murphy, who was a long-time good friend, introduced us, but I didn't really get to know him. Arizona, as you know, became kind of a second home. Nancy's parents lived there, and we were regular visitors, and there I met him many times at social gatherings and so forth when we were over there, and got to know him.
When you got to know him initially, really got to know him, have your impressions changed any from then to now?
No. As a matter of fact, I caused a stir among some of our mutual friends over there at a gathering one night long before 1964 when I said that I thought he ought to be the candidate for president. And nothing had been said about anything of that kind at the time. But no, let me tell you some of the things that I knew about him in the '64 campaign, with all the rigors of campaigning and all of that. He walked out of the schedule at one point to call on a lady who was terminally ill. And he just said that he felt that she'd like to know someone cared. And he canceled campaigning to do that. I remember during the Vietnam War days when soldiers would come in and not be able to get on airplanes to go on to their home on leaves or something, but they would direct them over to a hangar on the other side of the airport where there was a fellow with an airplane, and it was Barry Goldwater, and he would fly them. Did that day after day. And he's the same Barry Goldwater.
Has the senator had any great influence on this country?
Oh, yes. Yes, and a very great influence. That was the thing that must have been heartbreaking for him, and a terrible thing, the 1964 campaign, when our party divided so greatly, and he made that long walk pretty much alone. But I think what has happened to the Conservative Party, I call it party, conservative movement, which is largely the bulk of the Republican Party, couldn't have happened if he hadn't done what he did. That was the thing that finally brought a kind of a dignity and a respectability and a determination, and particularly to a great many young people at that time. And much of what has happened since, including myself being here, wouldn't have happened had he not done that.
What influence does the senator have, in your opinion, on a close vote in the Senate?
Oh, I am quite sure there are a number who look to him for some guidance on voting.
Could you detail some of your personal dealings with the senator?
Oh. Well, I don't know just how you mean that. We have, as I say, we've had certainly a friendly and a social relationship. I got to know him very much during that campaign time because I was one of the two co-chairmen for him in the primary in California. And I'd only been a Republican 2 years at that time. But he is a good friend. He's a lot of fun to be with. And you certainly never have to wonder where he stands. You find that out.
There have been times when Senator Goldwater has taken a stance opposite of yours.
Yeah.
What does that do to you?
Well, I don't think there's going to be any time in the world of politics in which everyone is going to agree with someone else 100% of the time. And when he does, it's something that he believes and believes in, and we talk about it. And sometimes I've been able to convince him, and sometimes not. But there's never anything personal in it. It's just part of the game, and we take our stands, but it doesn't affect our personal relationship in any way, and there's no grudge at either end of the street.
Is Senator Barry Goldwater a predictable man?
That is the last word that I would pick to describe him, unless you take it in the area of knowing that someone will always do what he honestly believes is right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.